Hello.
Hey there.
So, we're not really sure why we're doing this, but we were told we should start a podcast by Ben.
Yes, and Lori said that she'd be willing to listen. So we got some viewership, we got some listenership. Why not do that?
So, all right. Give me what does the list of ideas say? Is this?
I'm still signing in. Dude.
Is it still signing in? Okay.
Uh,
Tell me what were some of the things that you were talking about?
Little Stardom and how people. Little Stardom.
Little Stardom. Little Peep, Little Pump. It's taking over.
Yep. Oh man, like child stardom, like how some people seem to handle it monumentally better than others. Like how Rich Chigga, hasn't really changed as a person, whereas Lil Pump still sell that meth. XD.
Yeah. Okay. First, I should talk about some things before we get too deep into this.
Yeah.
We call our podcast Citation Needed because we talk about things without backing them up, as we normally do speak. No, we're just recording a conversation that we have. We'll see if that's good or bad content.
Jesus.
What's going on here?
Nothing. I just got an email saying that the device was successfully revoked from my...
That's kind of
it's so
annoying
pretentious.
and pretentious. Anyway, that's this Evernote app. But yeah, so we're just gonna do that. Think of some topics, talk about them. Yeah. If the audio is bad, then we'll try to fix it next episode.
We have like Audacity, and we can figure out how to better this.
I think
we're good boys.
I think it's pretty good right now, but if there's any problems, we'll try to iron them out.
Yeah, man.
Upcoming episodes. We're thinking of posting them every other week, so twice a month, and yeah. So
I think that just makes the most sense, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so you said child stardom, right?
Yeah.
So what are some examples of people who've done well with child stardom?
Like
Besides Rich Chigga, like who's somebody more accessible?
That's a great question. Corey Feldman's still a real person.
Corey, okay.
Well, to
Corey
be fair,
Feldman.
He's sort of cracked now.
I would not classify. He's insane.
For
Whoa.
Corey Feldman released a musical album like last year, and it was genuinely one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, see, I listened to Ascension, which is one of Corey Feldman's songs. It was incredible. It was a masterpiece.
It wasn't good at all. That is a lie.
Hold on, let me.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna try to look up some child stars who have not completely gone to the gutter.
Correct.
Here's the essence of citation needed.
Why don't we try to think some, dude? We're a podcast, but instead of going on our own knowledge, we use the internet. We cheat. It's correct.
Okay. Whoops! I just bumped into the mic.
There are a lot of. The thing is, a lot of child actors become regular actors. I'd almost say Jaden Smith, but he's sort of a meme now.
Jaden Smith.
He's just an icon living. Started a record label first thing. Misfits just did it.
Oh man, I should not be tragic. 32 child stars who died terribly young.
That's not. I don't think they're doing too well with their stardom, considering they're not alive with it anymore.
Let's start the slideshow here.
Oh God, why?
I don't know who this is.
Why is this a thing that we're doing, boy?
I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is.
Why is it? Yeah, that's because they're dead.
I don't know who that is.
River Phoenix. I do remember River Phoenix.
Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman's alive. Oh no, I mean he's dead.
Judith Barcy.
Wait,
I think I've heard
died terribly young. He died at 42.
That's
not.
Wait a second. Okay, this makes me think that looks like Ben Affleck. It makes me think that these kids died when they were kids.
Yeah.
Right. If you say child stars
who died terribly young, it makes it sound like they died terribly and young.
Well, it seems I've been conned by
Stars.com.
by Stars.com.
Oh man.
Not surprising.
Absolutely. That is infuriating. I hate stars, man. The concept of stars, just celestial bodies. Look, they're so arrogant. Look at them looking down on us, smirking.
Sure,
I hate
dude.
Stars.
Sure, dude. Okay.
Infuriating.
Okay, I think one of the biggest factors that influences child stardom is the age when you get it, obviously.
Yeah. Fair.
I think if you're a child star super young, or I think, okay, here's a theory. I think if you're a child star super young, you're grown up with it and you know how to adapt to it better. Like like Jaden Smith. Okay,
Uh-huh.
as much as I like despise Jaden Smith and think he's not a good musical artist,
I think he's
I
made
mean,
some good
he's
stuff.
turned out all right. Like he's not a bad person. He doesn't seem like he's done anything too bad,
He's at
right?
least like moderately respectful. He hasn't abused a bunch of his ex girlfriends. He's the worst thing he's done is abuse some people's ears. I think Sire was decent. It was like a I don't think it was good, but
I didn't listen to it, and yet I still think it's terrible
you need
because
to.
that's how my opinions are formed.
Yeah, you gotta actually give it a listen if you're going to form an opinion on it, boy. Come
No,
on.
so
Okay.
no, but because I think if you're growing up with it, right? If you start from the very beginning,
Hmm.
and like you're indoctrinated with it, or not indoctrinated, it's an odd connotation. You're
They have it injected into their skulls.
yeah, to their skulls. Oh my gosh. No, but
Just have somebody just they have like a port put in the back with like the Matrix, and then they just
the
jab it
batteries.
in there. Just giant syringe, just stuff it on in there.
Yeah. Okay. I think if you're growing up with it from the time you're like a child, like a baby, then you're grown up with it and you know how to adapt to it.
Yeah.
I think the real problem comes when you it's sprung on you.
That's fair. Yeah,
Like Jake Paul,
absolutely. Yes.
right? I mean, he was somewhat famous, but then he just blew up on YouTube.
And now he's an awful, arrogant sack of garbage.
And he's just pretentious and
Sorry if there are
insolent.
any Jake or Jake Paulers out there.
Oh,
Dab.
dab on him. Oh.
Dabbing all over him. Dab. Uh-huh.
I can see the little spike in the audio where you dabbed. I love how the dab just made a visible noise. There's a whoosh of air,
Yes.
just overpowering. The cyber dab, the super mega cyber dab.
Absolutely.
Anyway, how? Wait, so
What?
how long have we been recording for?
It's like
7 minutes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. We gotta do. Okay, we're planning on having these episodes last like an hour, a little less than an hour. If you don't want to listen for that long,
It's weird
that's
that
fine.
you keep mentioning stuff, man.
Huh? No, I just want to set the ground rules, dude.
I mean, yeah, but not like in the.
Don't worry about it. So,
Whatever.
yeah, but then okay, there's one example of a child star who.
With water into my own face. Uh-huh.
Here's a debatable one. Miley Cyrus,
Oh boy.
because as far as I know, it was not really sprung on her. Like Billy Ray
She's,
Cyrus was already famous, right?
Yeah, and she just sort of got it, you know. Big Hannah Montana. If you're not aware of that, then I'm sorry.
Actually, I'm glad.
I don't know. That was a great show.
Then again, I did see Hannah Montana, so I don't want to defame the show, but
The Hannah Montana movie, It's the Climb. Oh, boy.
oh, The Climb,
Oh
dude,
my
that's still a
God,
good song.
I hate that song.
I love that song, dude.
It's genuinely one of my
There's
least
always gonna be
favorites.
another
It's
mountain.
probably my least favorite Miley Cyrus song, and Wrecking Ball exists, man.
Nah, dude, The
I
Climb
do
is
not
great.
enjoy The Climb.
That's exactly how your mindset shows.
Okay. Shut up, boy.
But
Oh, man.
like she obviously the weird things happened with her.
Yeah.
And she was still, like she was like famous. Or she was. What am I trying to say here? She was grown up with the fame.
Uh-huh.
And
The Fame.
but like she grew up with it, and she still turned out terribly. But then she kind of redeemed herself a little bit. Maybe not redeemed, but she.
I think it was the moment when she twerked on Robin Thicke at the VMAs. I think that helped sap some of the evil out of Miley
Provided
Cyrus.
a moment of clarity for her.
She,
Oh,
She
wow.
just realized, this is probably bad. I shouldn't do this anymore. I should
Yeah.
probably improve myself as a human being.
So then, but I guess that's kind of a teenager rebellion phase, right? Except that she was like in her 20s. So maybe
I
just
think maybe when it comes to Disney people specifically, they have a tendency to just, well, Disney and Nickelodeon for the most part, they have a tendency to sort of go wild afterwards. Miranda Cosgrove is actually doing very, very, very well because like I think like after she shot iCarly, she actually like went off and went to college and was a normal human being for a little while.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and now she has like there's like I can't remember what it is, but she has like a couple of small time acting roles, and she still has tons of that iCarly money. So
Yeah.
you know she She doesn't really need all that much of everything else.
How old is she? Hold on.
She's like almost our age. I think she's only a little bit older than us. Well, she's probably like early 20s. If that. Like at maximum, she's like 21, probably. 24. I lied.
24.
I was wrong.
Oh,
she's not look 24.
She looks like 14. All right.
That's probably why they cast her at.
Yeah, but okay. I think one theory.
Harley Shay.
I think. Oh yeah.
Sam and Cat. XD.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Wait, was that a spin-off of iCarly?
It was a spin-off of both iCarly and Victorious.
I didn't watch.
Dude, Victorious was great, man. What?
I didn't watch that.
That's depressing, man. Come on.
There's a certain level of like femininity to each Disney show, right? And like
that
iCarly is
Disney,
at like
that was Nickelodeon.
or Nick. Wait a second.
That's Schneider.
Oh yeah, Dan Schneider. Yeah, like that. Okay, iCarly was at like 60% femininity, I'd say, right? And then Victorious was at like 85%.
I don't know.
And at that time, I was like getting conniptions from watching it because.
Dude, Andre from that show, Leon Thomas III, he's doing very well recently. He still acts a little bit. He's he produced for Post Malone. If you guys have heard Yours Truly, Austin Post, which arguably the best song on Stoney, he did a decent bit of the production for that track.
That's really weird. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
what were we talking about? Miranda Cont.
Sam and Cat. The character of Sam is Carly's best friend from iCarly, and then Cat is from Cat is one of the main supporting cast from Victorious.
So they just like blew off the main characters of the original show.
Essentially, yes.
Huh.
Because both of the main characters had other things to do. Victoria Justice, I think, modeling a little bit, as well as her own musical career, and then
That didn't go anywhere.
yeah, no, not at all. See, the thing is, like Andre, like I already
she was not victorious at all.
No, she was not. She was the least victorious of that cast. Like Avan Yogi is still pretty phenomenal. I love that man.
Avan Yogi? That is not a name.
Avan Yogi, Avanjogia. His name is Avan Yogi. He played Beck, Jade's
Beck?
hot boyfriend. Nah. Then obviously you had Andre. I already mentioned Leon Thomas III. He's doing pretty well. He was in Insecure, if you guys have seen that. I haven't, but I've heard some decent stuff about it. Apparently they just littered Frank Ocean references throughout their whole second season. Anyway. Then obviously you have Ariana Grande. I don't know if you guys have heard of that woman, but she's got a little bit of a musical career going for herself.
But it's because she has talent.
Yeah, even she's arguably one of the best singers on that show because Ariana Grande.
Wait, was there singing in the show?
Yes, there was a lot.
I didn't know
of singing
anything about the show.
That was the most feminine part of it, I'd argue.
Wait,
there were like numerous song numbers, like Victoria herself, Tori, the main character, spent a long periods of time singing. That was like her main thing. She sang and she acted.
She sang too much. She wore herself out.
Apparently so. She wore her whole career out before it started.
This is just turning into roasting Victoria Justice.
Sorry, Victoria Justice.
Is that her real name?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's like the Christian Baker show. Or like Christian, yes.
Christianity. The Crusades, starring Christian Baker.
No,
I don't know, man. I just make cookies for the troops. It's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I was saying that I think Disney stars, because they're usually in their teens while they're doing their acting business, their like teen rebellious phase.
It gets offset until they actually finish, and then they're like, it gets put off for a few years, and then they end up experiencing that.
So it's kind of Disney. Disney, and this makes total sense with not Disney, just these like Nickelodeon and these
child
shows.
stars who get recruited fairly early.
Their goal is to postpone childhood or the period of time that they're trying to recruit these kids for, right? A lot of these kids start becoming 19, 20 years old and they're still acting as teenagers.
Because they're playing teenage characters. So they're not supposed to be acting out in like their teen rebellious phase yet, and they're not supposed to be evolving into adults according to the writing of the show for the most part, except when it's convenient. And as a result of that, they just sort of stop them from actually experiencing that level of like adulthood, that level of development. until after the show's over.
Yeah, they're recruiting these kids, and they're almost molding them into the stars they want, and as a result, these kids don't experience kind of normal phases of kids until they're out of the. It's almost like stopping time for them.
Yeah, it's like
that's weird.
Ah, man, that's very odd. That's sad too.
Citation need. We've already come to a conclusion based on no evidence.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's really interesting. Because that's what happened with Miley Cyrus. That's what happened with what's her name?
Amanda Bynes.
Amanda Bynes. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Lindsay Lohan.
Definitely Lohan. Yeah.
She's one of the most famous cases of it.
Arguably the most famous, definitely.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. Yeah, that's.
Apparently, there are rumors that the girl who played Zoe on Zoe 101, her child is Dan Schneider's. And obviously,
oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that
Zoe
those are
Schneider.
Absolutely true, but that, ooh,
that's weird.
Dan Schneider is one person. Like all these sexual assault allegations,
he's the one
one person who I absolutely expected to receive them, who hasn't gotten anything at all. Which is an interesting thing, because like, there are two things that could mean. Either he's extremely good at keeping people silent, or he's completely innocent and just sort of has a moderate foot fetish that he lets shine through in like all of his shows.
Or he's just like a dude and he's like, oh man, I should not have put so many kids in these shows.
Or he's just made a bunch of really awkward looking mistakes.
Yeah, like he's like, well, I'm making a lot of money out of this, so I guess I'm not gonna.
I can't do anything about this now, can I?
Oh, well, whatever.
Man.
I think that's pretty likely, actually. Either that, or he's just an extremely malicious person.
God. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty interesting theory about child stardom. Is that? Oh yeah. So this reminds me of this more evidence for this, anecdotal evidence. So I don't know if you guys know Chester C.
Oh, I do. I watched that guy.
Yeah, and he sang.
Chester knows.
Yeah, he sang, and he had like a really big YouTube channel for a while. Now he's kind of irrelevant, I think. But
a little bit.
Well, I don't know.
He released a video in like 4 months.
Yeah, but at the time he was really popular a few years ago, and he was Chester on Disney 365.
Yes, he was. He did an Ear Biscuit. Like if you guys are aware of Ear Biscuits, the podcast with Rhett and Link. Back during their first or second season, I believe, he did a podcast with them, and he talked about that and how like he started to look like a normal person, like a decent like dude.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to talk. He started like going to the gym and like getting swole, and Disney was afraid of that because it was depriving them of like the childlike.
His childlike flair, and like they used to put him in like shirts that were like 3 times his size to mask the muscles, so he still looked like a teenage boy.
Yeah, that shows how Disney and just these like kids networks, obviously they don't want to provide the air of like adulthood. Like it's supposed to be for kids, right? So I get it on like
I was
sense,
wrong.
But...
The last video we uploaded was like a week ago.
Oh well, how many views did it get?
It was like 182 something.
That's pretty good.
1,000, yeah.
Oh, 182.
Oh, 158,000. That's he still has like 1.6 or something million subscribers.
Oh, that's not bad actually.
That's like okay pull, especially for somebody who was popular when he was and isn't as much anymore.
That's not. Yeah, I would not be really that sad about that.
Though to be fair, that's probably about 20 shekels now that the apocalypse is happening.
That's true.
Yeah.
That'd be a good topic for Citation Needed.
Big
Maybe next episode we'll talk about the apocalypse.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that was one thingy. Yeah, like Chester's. That's really interesting.
He just sort of got his whole adulthood shut down because he looked too much like one.
Yeah, or maybe not shut down, but just like masked, hidden, blocked.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe shut down is a good describer for it.
Yeah, he had to put away.
Okay, I think, and there are some who just who did fine, but very few child stars. Okay, they're kind of 3 tiers, I think, or 3 types. They're the child stars who just fade into irrelevancy after they're done with their major role.
Yeah.
Which I would say is like, 50%.
Yeah.
25%, or I want to say 60%, right? I want to say 20%, or maybe like 15%, or 20% maybe, go completely AWOL, and become terrible.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. And
wait, when you say terrible, do you mean terrible people, or they just don't make anything of value anymore?
They just don't make anything of value, and maybe not terrible people, but they've just made a lot of bad life decisions.
And so now they're just sort of gone.
Yeah, like and then the
Macaulay
third
Culkin just sort of dissipated into the mist.
Macaulay Culkin, and he looks incredibly old as well.
Yeah, it's because he did like tons of meth, dude.
Yeah. Oh, he did?
That'll age
Wait.
like a lot. Yeah.
I thought he was just I thought he just got really unlucky and just.
No, I mean possibly a little bit in there, but he's looking healthier now because I think he's off meth now. But you know.
Wow, really?
Hopefully.
But okay, and then the third tier. So first tier, irrelevant. Second tier, irrelevant, but popular because they make terrible life choices, and just become just bad, right? Yeah. Bad news. And third tier is wildly popular.
Yeah, fair. Like they just continue to do things.
So, an example of the first tier, irrelevancy, or maybe they do minor. Okay, you know what? I'll add like a sub tier to this. Some of these actors who do minor roles, right?
Yeah. They'll fade into obscurity rather than just non-existence.
So, okay, one example of maybe not a child actor, but a young actor who had a really big role and faded into irrelevancy almost completely was Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen from Star Wars Episode 2 and Episode 3.
Luke Skywalker.
I think...
Or Anakin, rather.
I think...
Don't worry about it.
Let's just act like that never happened. I think I think the failure of Star Wars, and just the absolute backlash he probably received, forced him into hiding. And he was probably had his mindset on never acting again.
He got stuffed
into
a box.
He was a child actor, or a young actor who got put into roles like Goosebumps, I think.
I think so. Goosebumps was amazing. Oh my god, dude.
I didn't watch any of the Goosebumps movies, but
those were phenomenal.
I read a lot of the books, but so he goes under the irrelevant category completely.
Not the movies, but the show.
Or show, yeah.
He does not do anything anymore.
Yeah, and I think he moved off to a farm or something.
Probably.
And, okay, so then the sub tier of irrelevant but do obscure would be like that one guy you're talking about from Victorious, right? What did he do? He produces or something.
Leon Thomas III. He produces a little bit. He still acts quite a bit.
Yeah, but
just minor roles.
If you asked somebody normally who Leon Thomas III was.
It'd take a very, very high tier individual to recognize him.
High tier? What is that supposed to?
That means that they have good taste.
Good taste.
Yes.
Good meme, dude. More like good meme.
Well, thanks, boy. Pardon me for recognizing patricians when I see them.
That was so pretentious. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Okay. The one. Okay. What was I going to say? And then. So an example of actors, which I think is the biggest group, or that was the biggest group I was saying. The second biggest group is people who their lives are just destroyed. Yes. They destroy their lives. So that's Lindsay Lohan. Okay, Miley Cyrus is debatable.
That's fair. She's still doing fine as a person.
She's popular.
Extremely, yes. She's still a pop star. She just hasn't she's not good. She's not. I don't mean musically. I don't like her musically, but she's not bad, I guess. She's not in backyards just sort of slamming heroin that she bought out of somebody's booty hole, you know.
Yeah, I think it really depends on your view of morality and ethics and stuff, because right, she had this dark path. The dark path of the Nazgul.
She slid to the dark side.
But she's kind of come back and is less weird now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you believe in redemption or repent or
repentance.
Repentance.
Miley Cyrus repented for her sins, and in return, God made her not terrible.
I highly doubt that, but it depends on your view of that, I guess.
Yeah. I suppose.
But so I guess she can kind of go in both categories. But maybe she should go more in the extremely popular category, because the terrible life category is more about it's just so bad that that there's no hope for them to ever come back,
Their whole
and they're not
existence is like
they're unpopular. They're only popular because of how terrible their life has become.
Amanda Bynes.
Amanda Bynes,
Gone insane.
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are the two big main examples.
there should be more examples of this.
Yeah. More popularized ones at least.
I was just gonna say, okay, Macaulay Culkin, right?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently those are apparently those are rumors, but still.
Yeah, but he looks terrible, and he's just not doing anything. And
fair. He's looking healthier now, but he did not look good for a very long time.
Yeah, and he's still obscure. So
to quote him, "No, I was not slamming $6,000 in heroin every day."
Yeah, and then Corey Feldman, right? I think Corey Feldman. Oh,
Feldman's decent now. He's stable.
He's kind of insane, but
yeah. Technically, he's stable.
Yeah. Where's some other?
He's really going for it. Got him.
Go for it. Whoa. Snoop Doggity Yoggity Yoggity.
He managed to get Snoop Dogg on a track on one of the. Oh my god.
Well, Snoop Dogg does anything for money, as we've
yes,
as we've witnessed.
That is fair. He's a good man, but he likes money.
So, I can't think of any other examples. This is not helping our case.
Yeah, not really.
But then we said it was not a big portion of people anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, but it's really, really extreme.
Oh, the dude from okay, he had an afro. Corbin Blue.
Corbin Blue?
Didn't he
from High School Musical?
Yeah, didn't he get like in a DUI or something, and like he's accused of like possession of like really bad drugs or something?
Oh, jeez. Hopefully not. Let's Google that.
Or no, it was one guy from That's So Raven, I think. Like one of the supporting characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but one of the two had like a bad run-in with like drug possession, I think.
Man, that's unfortunate.
I mean, that's not the end of the world, but that's not good. You know, you shouldn't be doing that.
I was wrong, by the way. He said pounding, not slamming.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the correction.
He was not pounding $6,000 in heroin today.
We should have a corrections aspect at the end of all of our shows.
Yes.
Just go through, fix any quotes.
Oh. Corbin Blue talks life as a newlywed Donald Trump in Broadway musical.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Yeah, he sounds like
he's doing fine.
Pretty decent.
Yeah. So I'd put him under maybe obscure, right?
Yeah.
Not megastar, but he's doing pretty well.
He's doing a few things. I mean, like we just said, he's married. He has a Broadway musical now.
Maybe that's the most popular category, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
Is like obscure but still making it.
Yeah, like the Dylan and Cole Sprouse still exist and doing fine.
Or Drake Bell and Josh Peck.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Because neither of them really do huge things anymore. Like, I don't think even Drake's music is even going anywhere anymore. But like, they're still both going pretty strong. Josh has a fairly active YouTube channel from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean he's doing pretty. I mean, I wouldn't consider him like,
an ultra success.
Yeah. Now there are some anomalies though, right? Mm-hmm. I think Jake Paul is an example of an anomaly.
Yeah. Fair.
Because he's a terrible person and does terrible things, yet he's grown in popularity.
Only more so since the more things that you hear about him that are just awful, the more popular he seems to get.
Yeah, but and it's
like how he damaged his neighbor's hearing, doing like a car honking prank or whatever.
Yeah, and he's just rude and
brash.
Clearly, and records people without their consent and stuff like that. And,
yes.
And
creates abominations to the ears. It's not good music.
Yeah, and it's just like just a bad person. Yes. But I think there's a difference in that aspect as well because he hasn't been destroyed in his character. Mm-hmm. I think he was just always like that. Like Lindsay Lohan was not always drugged out and just destroyed, right?
No.
And she didn't gain popularity from that. Jake
so,
Paul.
Then she was a very confusingly sweet little girl half the time. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Jake Paul, on the other hand, is still really popular, but you wouldn't say that he's a
good person, that he's doing well.
Yeah. So, I think that's the whatchamacallit with that. Mm-hmm. Whatchamacallit was I mean.
comedians are a very interesting thing because a lot of the
What are you
time,
looking at right now?
huh?
What are you looking at?
Nothing. I was thinking.
Oh.
Because a lot of the time, comedians have a tendency, like, either they're doing pretty solidly, or like they're just drugging just constantly every day on the verge of killing themselves.
Well, a lot of comedians are like that, yeah. Like, it's weird how being really funny, kind of it comes at a trade-off, you know?
Yeah, like you're supremely funny, but then also you you're kind of a sexual degenerate, or
CK.
you just do obscene, ungodly amounts of drugs, which are clearly and heavily worsening your life.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of bad things that could end up happening, which is awkward and it's unfortunate. One person I'm very glad has turned out to be like extremely like candid and very true to form is Brian Regan. I love that man.
Brian Regan. I think I know who you're talking. I've heard of his name before. And I
He
think
makes like extraordinarily clean comedy and seems to lead a very clean life as well.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan seems like he's doing pretty well.
Yeah. He's staying at home right now with his wife and kid.
Like
He's
5
doing
kids,
pretty
right?
well. Yeah, he's got a lot of kids. All of them are pretty translucent. As is he. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr. Snow, Mr. White Christmas, Mr. Gaffigan.
Mr. Gaffigan. Mm.
Hello, Mr. Gaffigan.
Mr. Gaffigan.
Good to see you again.
People are gonna love that. It's not loud at all.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yes.
Okay.
We should not edit that out, but we should edit out this awkward silence. Here.
No. This is gold.
God.
See, I'm not sure if we should make the podcast an hour long because I feel like we're running out of steam after 30 minutes.
45. Let's start with 45. I know we can do another 15.
Let's do 40.
Another 30. Okay.
40, maybe 45 is better.
If we go to 40 and we're fine, we'll do another 5.
Well, we'll see how the conversation plays out.
We'll try to start closing at 40.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think. I think we've really exhausted this child star.
Yeah, man.
Topic.
To an extent.
Maybe we should cover 2 topics an episode.
Or maybe we could just talk for the rest.
That's disgusting.
Have you not heard, like, there are a lot of 2 guys talking podcasts that are great. Like, Broken, ironically enough. Do you remember the Broken podcast, man?
No, what is that?
Oh, man, PewDiePie and Cinnamon Toast Ken had a podcast back in, like, 2014. It was genuinely one of my favorite podcasts for a really long time. They're very sweet boys. And then both of them have very lively personalities that turn out well. Like, they were good friends too. So
yeah, I knew about that.
Like, it worked well. Yeah, They had a podcast. It was like genuinely one of my favorites for a while. They had on a bunch of guests. They had on like Cryotic, if anybody even still knows who he is. They had on Uber Haxer Nova, who I love. Oh my God, Uber Haxer Nova is just phenomenal. Have you watched that guy's show?
No, I don't know who that is.
Ah man, I've been watching him since I was like 12. He now owns and like operates a Funhouse licensed company.
Oh,
like,
really?
Cow Chop. Yeah, have you heard of Cow Chop?
No, I haven't. I know Funhouse, but
yeah, his channel is owned by, or one of his channels is owned by Funhouse.
Huh.
Yeah. He runs it with like himself and Alex from Mortal HD and a few other people. Some good stuff comes out of there. Extremely funny stuff. He works well in group fashions.
Group fashions.
Group fashions.
Interesting.
Group environments.
I like the hand movement right there.
Yes.
Group. Environments.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was I talking about prior to going off on a tangent about Uber Hex?
You're talking about just people who talk in podcasts.
Yeah. They had him on as a guest back when Broken was pretty popular. They stopped it, which is kind of depressing. Because I guess
Why did they stop?
I'm not sure. I don't think they're not friends anymore, but I think PewDiePie has probably picked up steam more on his channel and has been going a lot stronger recently. and they probably just drifted apart. Things happen, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. There's also the Super Mega Cast, which I listen to currently, which has on Matt and Ryan from Super Mega, who edit for Game Grumps in part time and run their own channels. They're very good boys.
You sound like an old grandmother.
I am an old grandmother.
That's weird. Don't say good. They're older than you.
Grandma Baker. Yes, they are. Yeah. What, Ryan Watson and Matt McGee, I think.
Okay, let's stray for a different
wait,
topic.
Matt Watson.
We're talking about podcasts on a podcast.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
This is
We tangented here.
That's fine.
Naturally.
That's fine.
Yeah. There's also Dan Cummins, comedian.
Oh yeah, Timesuck is great.
Timesuck is phenomenal, dude. I love Timesuck.
Okay, one star, Rich Chiga. We forgot we should come back to him.
Absolutely, yes. In terms of music, it's interesting to see because you'll see people who like Lil Pump, where you'll assume that they're 24 because their face is covered in gross tattoos.
Yeah, he looks like he's going on 30. He just looks terrible.
Yeah, like he looks bad for 30.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, that is a really 30-year-old. I feel so bad for him, man.
And he's out here talking about how he obviously he's an idiot.
He just passed his algebra test and
yeah, he's still out here. Your mama's still living in a tent. His lean costs more than your rent. He's shooting music videos where he just carries around garbage bags of weed and hands out lean to students at a Catholic elementary school that he didn't get permission from to film in.
Okay, again, I think that goes to morality because certain people are going to see that as degeneracy.
Yeah, and being certain people.
Yeah, and other people might say, "Oh, Lil Pump is doing great."
Dude, look at Lil Pump. He's so cool. He's so great. He's such a maverick. He's such an icon living.
Oh, there's too many references.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
both tangentially similar artists.
So I really think it depends on your it's hard to find whether or not a person there are some obvious cases, but in a case like Lil Pump, it's hard to say whether or not he's he hasn't obviously faded from relevancy because of his habits.
Yes.
So I think maybe in that way you can qualify him as popular. He doesn't count as a child star who's
maybe so. But at the same time, you have to factor in memeability because one thing about I have multiple parts of multiple verses of Gucci Gang memorized.
Yeah.
Literally, I think I've listened to that song intentionally a total of 2 times. One of which was to watch the video for Gucci Gang.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many memes and the culture around it is so incredibly meme heavy that you can understand who he is as an artist just based on following him meme wise. Whereas, Rich Chiga, he's a very talented young man. He produces himself, which is pretty yes. Recently he's been doing it quite a bit. Chaos, Glow Like That. Definitely Crisis. He produced all 3 of those, which are superb beats.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
Yeah. And on top of that, he's releasing an album in February on the 2nd, which is called Amen. You should definitely check that out when it comes out. I know.
What, he was PR manager or something?
No, I just like him as an artist, and I want to popularize him. Yeah. Crisis is superb. He makes very, very good music, and it hasn't changed him as a person. He's our age. He's 17 years old.
18.
Oh yeah, he is 18 now, but
he's my age.
Shut up.
No, I don't mean it
I know what you mean. He's still doing extremely well, and he hasn't all of a sudden started doing all sorts of drugs. He hasn't rapped on anything other than his experiences and his aims. He doesn't talk about how he still sells meth and then tweet later on, no, of course I don't sell meth.
Yeah, that's nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened.
There's a genuineness to him. Also, Brockhampton. Wow, all of them have been handling their fame extremely well.
How old are they?
Huh, they're mostly our age.
Seriously?
For the most part. They're pretty young. I think I'm not sure their exact ages, but I don't think Kevin Abstract's older than 20.
Wow.
Yeah, like
That's impressive.
they're very smart artists. They're using their upbringing and their experiences very holistically to form a very solid malleable narrative with regards to what they've lived through and what their experience of life is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I think we're at 40 minutes,
Yeah.
and I think our conversation just ended naturally.
He's 21 years old.
21 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was pretty interesting. I guess we gotta end this now. No one knows how to end podcasts.
We don't know how to. This was the first episode.
Steve Lacy's also 19.
I don't know who Steve is. He on Rockhand?
No, but he collaborates like a ton with like the neophyte versions of like Odd Future. If you remember like Odd Future, he's participating a lot in their stuff. He's moved up there. I feel.
So when Odd Future was more popular, he was just a kid though.
Yeah, well, not like a kid, but
yeah, but he was like
he was pretty
14
young
or something like that.
He was listening to Odd Future back when Odd Future was popular as a kid, like back when he was in the appropriate age too.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like that. I hope to accomplish that sort of thing as an artist. You know, to be able to be something over which people can connect. That's like one of my main goals. You know.
Yeah. So
of course, yours is to play Chopin.
Of course, dude. Chopin, dude. Greatest.
Oh, man.
So we're gonna wrap it up here. If you have any ideas for future podcasts, let us know. I guess it'll be comments.
Yeah, probably. We'll put an email in the script.
Or just put a comment. Like if we're uploading this, we might upload this on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Yeah, probably.
And if we're on one of those, check both of them out.
Definitely.
Look up citation needed. You know, we're gonna have to make sure the name's not taken, but
yeah, definitely.
That's the plan for now. And so let us know, and probably a lot of the people who are going to be listening to them, if anyone, will be at school, so just talk to us then.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that's it. We'll try to improve it as we go along, but This is the first episode. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, goodbye.
We'll see you guys around.
Have a blessed night.
Hey!
Yeah.
Stop.